Well, let's welcome Tushar Chaudhari, research analyst at Prabhudas Lilladher, who joins us on the show. Hi, Tushar. Good to see you in, and thanks a lot for joining in on CNBC-TV18. Well, the cement space is obviously of importance, given that we're going to see growth. We'll have some infra projects that will be coming in as well. So those announcements will be awaited. Let's get a couple of basic details out first. The summer has been a scorching one, and also we had the elections. So there was some kind of slowdown in the first quarter of this year. What are you penciling in terms of cement demand, and which company is best placed in terms of outgrowing the industry growth?
Yeah, good morning, Nigel. Thanks a lot for this opportunity. So cement is a domestic commodity, and the demand has got very strong correlation with GDP growth. As Indian economy is growing at fastest pace in the world, I think demand is really not a concern. In the short term, obviously, 1H would be impacted because of elections as well as upcoming monsoons. But we believe second half demand should bounce back. And with the formation of stable government now, demand is expected to remain strong over the next few years.
You want to give us a number about growth for the year, high single digit, given that we have had a slow first half of the year?
For FY25, we are working with, you're right, 8 to 9, and probably FY26 will be 10 plus volume growth for most of the companies.
Okay, so that's on the volume growth side. Tushar, is there any sign of a pickup in pricing at all? Because from what Nigel's been telling us, obviously the year started off on a weak note. I don't think there's any great improvement in May. So what are you expecting? Now we're getting into the monsoon season. So what's happening with pricing, and what have you seen so far in terms of price action? I mean, any cuts in May? If you could just quantify that.
Yeah, see, basically price hike attempt were taken by companies over the last 2 months, even April, May, but they couldn't sustain because of weak demand. Prices were coming down only. In few cities like North and Central, I think there is some uptake in prices by 5 to 10 rupees, but otherwise the overall weakness is there across regions. But obviously, post-monsoon, we expect as demand resumes significantly, we believe that there will be some price hike by companies.
Okay, all right. What about an EBITDA per ton? What is the number you're working with? The past quarter, we saw some weakness. Quarter 4, I think it was one of the weakest quarter 4s that we have seen, that it was weaker than even quarter 3 on EBITDA per ton. Now, that was in the price. You saw volume growth, but prices didn't move up and input cost didn't cool off. How do you see the EBITDA per ton improving from here on? If demand's going to grow, you'll have some price increases that will come in, and some input costs have cooled off. So any number you could give us for the industry?
So EBITDA per ton would improve gradually. As of now, your raw material costs, even for power and fuel costs, are coming off. Your power and fuel costs, companies have benefited because of lower petcoke as well as coal prices. And I think that scenario will continue for 1 or 2 quarters. Petcoke prices doesn't look like they are going in adverse direction. We believe EBITDA per ton will improve by second half of FY25 to 1,000 plus for most of the companies, at least leaders.
Okay, got that. The other big factor that the street is focusing on is Mr. Naidu making a comeback in Andhra Pradesh. And that's why they're expecting demand to pick up. But I think, Tushar, you also would have heard this before in his earlier term as well. And not much happened on ground. Your comment on this, and any view on KCP in particular? That stock has seen a big spurt up. If you track that one?
No, sorry. See, overall demand will obviously, over the last 2 years, demand in South has improved, especially post-COVID. And that is the reason we have seen companies like Ramco and Sagar delivering decent numbers. Going forward also, if Amravati gets developed, I guess these are the companies which will get benefited: Ultratech, Ramco and Sagar.
Ultratech, Ramco and Sagar Cements, 3 beneficiaries of more demand in the south for cement. Got it. So, okay. And of course, all this revival in Andhra that we are now speaking of and expecting, perhaps for very good reasons. Finally, Tushar, so those are some 3 south-based names that you took. But overall, what would be your top picks in the sector?
Overall, as of now, we remain positive on large cap companies, mainly Ultratech and Ambuja, mainly because of the aggressiveness which they are working with, the cost efficiencies, as well as efficiency improvement across units of ACC, you can say, in the case of Ambuja. I think both the companies are are growing capacities as well to cater to the demand. And I think these are the companies which will take maximum market share going forward. We believe that smaller companies will underperform. As such, if once demand improves, pricing improves, entire pack will go up. But I believe these large caps will be the major beneficiaries.
Okay, all right. Tushar, just one more word. This Dalmia Cement is in focus and the stock has been underperforming. We know that the JP Associates has been dragged to the NCLT and that's where the equity value there is getting eroded. Now, for Dalmia Cement, suppose this deal happens and doesn't happen, if you have a scenario analysis of this?
See, even if this deal doesn't happen, I think the Dalmia has got enough capacities to grow. We remain positive on Dalmia. But because of this deal, they were the cost front, it was high, and in the recent performance was not that great vis-a-vis peers. But as of now, we don't have much clarity. We believe that deal might get delayed also because of all these issues. But even if it doesn't happen, I think Dalmia has got enough capacities under their portfolio.
Lovely. All right. Thanks a lot, Tushar, for joining in. I don't believe it's going to be a big impact. The only problem for me is last year, bulk of their volume growth had come in because of those tolling volumes. But we take your point. You don't believe it will be a big impact. Wishing you a good day ahead, Tushar.